Hey everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of the Creative Smoothie. As every other week, I'm so excited to be here sharing with you the latest insights, the latest news, the latest thoughts that I have about marketing, about business, and about this little hair that's hanging on top of my forehead. If you're on the video, you can see I have a new haircut and I'm trying to deal with it, but it keeps falling into my face. Anyways, I don't want to spend too much time talking about my hair. Listen, guys, I've been very excited to share this episode with you today because I've arrived at a breakthrough. You know, something I've told you in the past is not necessarily what I think about anymore, and I want to make that right in some sort of way. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about your most valuable asset. Now, if you've listened to this podcast for a bit, or if you've checked out my content on social media, you'll know that I kept preaching that money is not your most valuable asset, or it's not the most valuable thing that you can get. Time is your most valuable asset, and hence you should price your time accordingly. And that is still true. I still believe that time is a very precious asset that we have. However, recently I've been listening to more people like Alex Hormozy, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, all these people that talk about business, and I've been listening to them for years. But we always tend to get something new when we listen to one of their videos if we truly listen closely. And a pattern that I've been seeing going around social media and just in many places is people's focus on attention, right? And people talking about it's not about the time that you have, it's about what you do with the time. It's not about how much free time you get, it's about what you do with that free time, like how you spend it with the people that you love or doing whatever you want to do, creating a better future for yourself. So I started thinking, right, time is a precious asset. But time can be wasted, right? And if time is wasted, then, suddenly it's not your most precious asset anymore because it has devalued. What you do with your time really matters. It gives value to that time. So what gives value to that time? What is our most important asset as of right now? I think that our most important asset, without a doubt, is our attention. Where our attention goes, our energy flows, which is a lot of, something that a lot of people say and talk about. Wherever our attention goes, that's where we start focusing and directing energy, creative energy, whatever kind of energy that you want. Even just paying attention to something transfers some sort of energy to that particular thing. So whatever you focus on, whatever you pay attention to, is what you're going to be harvesting for the future. It's what you're going to be investing in as far as money and time goes, right? So attention is something that has been stolen from us for the past 7-10 years. I mean, forever, right? TV entertainment is literally trying to do stuff to pass the time, right? Instead of using it to do something else productive. And that's not bad. Listen, entertainment is not bad. Watching something on TV, relaxing, enjoying with the people that you love, it's definitely not wasting time. It's actually putting attention on the places that you love, on things that you love, on things that you like doing. And it has some sort of positive effect on your life, right? If not, what would be the point of enjoying time with your family? Like, it's obviously something good for you. It's why we're here on earth, right? To enjoy, to experience life. Now, our attention has been stolen lately by social media, or I like to say stolen because they didn't even pay rent, okay? It's not rented, it's not borrowed space in your mind. It's actual stealing your attention without you really knowing it. And if you see it, even Instagram and these social medias have gone from identifying time as the most precious asset to attention. Like, if Instagram and a few other apps actually have ways for you to track how much time you're on the app, and they send you some warnings and they show you, what your goal is. And I don't think that Instagram actually wants you to spend hours on end on Instagram. I think what Instagram wants is for you to constantly be thinking about Instagram and constantly be creating content for Instagram, and or like have your connections there, have your networking there. Because if you want to pay attention to, for example, your business partners, you might have to go on Instagram to, begin your conversation with them, because that's where you made a conversation and that's where you made the relationship. So Instagram, and I'm taking Instagram just because it's where I'm most active and where I can identify this sort of patterns the most. But back to attention. Our most valuable asset is attention, because we have time, but we get to decide what we do with that time. And I think you'll agree with me that certain activities are going to get you closer to the things that you want in life than others. And some of them are actually going to move you further away from your path than you would want. So the point of this video is, we've already understood that money is not the most important thing, because with money, you actually buy time, right? But that time isn't worth anything if we don't put our attention not on what I deem correct, on what you think that is going to help you out in life. What is going to get you closer to your professional goals? What is going to get you closer to having a better relationship with your family? What is going to get you closer to avoiding creative burnout and having the productive energy throughout the week to carry on with your business? All of those things, if you choose to use your time and put attention in those, then it doesn't matter if you have 30 minutes to work on your business every day for the rest of, next 3 years. Because those 30 minutes, you're going to know exactly what you need to do in order to get to the goal that you want to get to. Now, you might be asking, okay, but it's kind of subjective. It's kind of like, okay, what's really useful, And my answer is what you find useful. But in order to understand what's useful for you and what's going to drive you towards your goals, you need to, one, understand where you want to go, okay? So the goal is very important. And number two, you need to understand how you're going to break that up into 3 smaller actions or more, right? Because our goals tend to be something like lose 5 pounds or lose 10 pounds or adopt a skill or something else. Like, okay, that's a big goal. How are you going to break it down? Like, what are the steps that you're going to take in order for you to become more involved in your family life or more involved in your friend's life? What are the exact steps that you're going to take? Because without those, it's like saying, I want to drive from New York to California, and then you just start driving and hope that by the end of, I don't know how many days, you're going to get there. Well, you might get there because there are signs and, you can stop and ask people, how do I get to California? But if you don't prepare certain like GPS and if you don't prepare hotels, you might end up having to sleep in your car. You might end up having to detour. You might spend, 3 months driving from New York to California without no GPS instead of, a few days that it would have taken you with the GPS. So in order to create this map for yourself, you need to break your goals down into easier actions to complete. For example, I have many goals, and one of the goals is, of course, to develop a business that generates over 6 figures every year, right? So in order to do that, I know there are 3-4 big things that I need to do in order to get there. Now, those 3-4 things also break down into 3-4 other smaller things, right? And that's how you start the organization and the goal setting game. But without those things, I don't know where to put my attention at every single day, right? So I know that I want to start a $100,000 business at first. But if I don't know how I'm going to do it, or at least the things that I'm going to try to do to get there, all that I'm going to do is come here every day and think about, I want a business that's going to bring me $100,000. Whereas if I have as one of the goals, learn sales and start a website and hire a virtual assistant. Those are 3 things that are already moving me towards my business. And since I have those 3 to-dos, I know that whenever I have time, that time slot for my business is going to be occupied by these 3 things that I'm trying to achieve, because those are the best things that are going to get me closer to my $100,000 business per year. Does it make sense? Right? So many times people tell you, you got to pay attention, you got to be focused on what you're doing, but many people don't tell you how to do that. Most people just tell you set goals, follow them, be disciplined, be motivated. What are all those words actually? Okay? How can you actually pay attention to something that you don't know where it is or what to pay attention at? It's like staring at a blank wall. You cannot choose one fixated point on a blank wall, or it's pretty hard. Your eyes are going to start wanting to move around. They're not going to be able to focus on anything. And it's the same with your time, okay? Make attention your most valuable asset and your least wasted asset, okay? Be conscious about where you put your attention, and the way you become conscious about where you put your attention is by coming up with goals and roadmaps to those goals that are going to show you the next few steps. And there's something else, and this is the last thing I'll tell you. At first, you might ask yourself, okay, but how do I know that these 3-4 things are the things that I need to be doing? You don't know. But guess what? your ability to make decisions and make this kind of judgments about what is more useful than something else is the skill that you will need as a business owner, because sometimes there's no higher up to ask, there's no coach to go to, there's no consultant that you can hire on the spot to help you with this. Sometimes you have to decide what is more useful and what should go. And the only way that you can develop that skill and that ability, and I know it because I'm currently doing it, is by going out and having belief that, okay, these 3 goals that I set out, these are definitely the goals. Go out and try to get them accomplished, follow your roadmap, and if it doesn't get you to the goal, then go back and reassess. Maybe there was something small that you had to change about it. But constantly going and checking in with other people and getting feedback from them is something very useful that I always use. I always go back and say, like, is this really, do you think this is really going to help me? And many times people cannot give you will try to give you their advice or their opinion. I think that you should always try and test out the things that you thought were going to work out. So if you think that in order to lose weight, you got to train 3 times a week and, run for 10 minutes or 15 minutes all of those days, then try it out and see, after 2-3 months, what kind of effect does it have? Has it not had the effect that you wanted? Maybe you have to increase the amount of time you're training. But if you don't go through those steps, then you're never going to get to the end, and you're never going to reclaim your most important asset, which is attention, okay? One last time. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. All right? Take care. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, become conscious of where you put your attention every single day.